you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, good evening and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm so excited you took the time out of your evening to tune in and get caught up to date for what's about to happen this evening. We have an action-packed broadcast, so let's get started because it's definitely going to be a soggy overnight period ahead. That brings us to the first headline. The rain is on the way, practically on the doorsteps of North Mississippi, as this low pressure system we've been talking for quite a while finally making its way to North Mississippi. Thankfully, keeping all that severe weather risk down south. The trend has been going further and further south away from us here in North Mississippi. Thankfully, that is still the case, and we're already seeing that take effect down in the southeastern portions of the United States, especially along Louisiana currently. But for us here in our overnight period, we can go to sleep stress-free. It's just going to be some heavy downpours, maybe wake up to a rumble of thunder, but should just be some heavy showers moving on through North Mississippi. Unfortunately, that's going to continue into your Sunday morning, but thankfully, we're going to be talking about much beautiful weather making its way towards North Mississippi pretty much for the remainder of the work week. So got to get through this soggy overnight period first before we can enjoy that spring-like weather, but it is definitely making its return behind the cold front later on tonight. Now the first 12 showing exactly that. A soggy forecast as we get ready to go to sleep tonight. 20% chance of rain by 11 as those isolated showers continue moving on through. Temperatures around 59 degrees, slowly cooling off. We have so much moisture in our atmosphere right now. We're not really going to cool off that much as we get ready for this overnight period. Those rain chances are going to continue to increase. Could see some rumbles of thunder tonight, but I want to keep emphasizing that severe weather risk not really affecting us here in North Mississippi. It is still in the southern portions of the Magnolia State, so not having an effect on us. Just going to be a soggy overnight period. Could hear some rumbles of thunder, but that's pretty much the extent. Those rain chances are going to continue to decrease as you start off your Sunday morning and kind of linger throughout the first half of your Sunday before we start seeing a drier Sunday. It's going to take a while to get there. But like I want to keep mentioning, especially just to kind of give you the visual, that severe weather risk, the level 1 originally clipped us for our Sunday. But let's take a look at our Saturday first. We have that level 1 and 2 risk in the southern portions of our Magnolia State, but pretty much into Louisiana where that cold front's already making its effect, but still not affecting us here in the northern half of our state. This is for your Saturday, and even to zoom into our region just so you can tell, not really seeing any of that green affect us here. So definitely a good trend, and it is sticking as we get ready for this overnight period. So I know some of us, especially with severe weather in the past, hate to go to sleep thinking about some cold front moving on through. You can go to sleep tonight, stress-free, just enjoy the rainfall, maybe hear some rumbles of thunder tonight. I might even set an alarm just because it's been a while since I've seen some lightning flashes and rumbles of thunder. Very excited later on tonight, but still stress-free, just some heavy downpours moving on through later tonight and unfortunately going to bug us for tomorrow. But that severe weather risk for tomorrow, speaking of, still not affecting us. Still further down south and moving on into Alabama, Georgia, and even into Florida where that level 2 risk is. Nowhere near us here in North Mississippi. So I know all week we've been getting ready for severe weather season and it's been severe weather preparedness week. Thankfully, we're not having to use it yet here in North Mississippi, just still useful information to know as we get ready for those March, April, and May months coming up. But let's take a look at some live footage all across North Mississippi. This is out in Crenshaw as that rainfall is pretty much starting to make its way in. 61 degrees, feels like 61 that dew point, around 46. So a lot different from the past weekends where we're talking about single-digit dew points or even in the 20s. We're a lot more saturated this time around, especially we're about to see why with all that moisture making its way into North Mississippi. But that wind right now pretty calm, but going to see those breezy conditions start to return later on tonight, but definitely into your Sunday morning hours as well. Out here in Saltillo, 63 degrees, feels like 63 as well. There's some more breezy conditions, 16 mile per hour winds coming out of the southeast. So still, that dew point around the low 40s, a lot more saturated as compared to where we have been the last few weekends. We're going to see that cold front continue to move on through, show those saturated conditions before leaving us very dry into the work week ahead. Take a look out here in Caledonia, 64 degrees, feels like 64 as well. There we go, 15 mile per hour winds coming out of the southeast. So definitely, it was Crenshaw, the first camera. Definitely the lone wolf as far as not seeing breezy conditions yet, but it'll make its way to you. I'm kind of surprised that you're not seeing breezy conditions quite yet. That dew point's still in the mid 40s as we get ready for that overnight period ahead. Now, take a look at our Mama Justice Doppler radar. We're going to see those rain chances continue to move on into the northwestern portions of our viewing area. Most of us continue to stay dry this evening, so any late night Valentine's Day plans you have, especially pretty much along Highway 45, y'all are still good to go. But don't stay out too long because those rain chances are going to continue moving on in and they're going to get quite heavy. So definitely hearing that rain hit your roof tonight. Could hear some rumbles of thunder like I've already mentioned, but that's pretty much the extent as we go into our overnight period. So let's take a look at surface analysis and kind of what's happening. You notice not much happening here in North Mississippi, but a lot more activity down south. And that's where that severe weather risk is. We've already seen some severe thunderstorm warnings, even a lot of tornado warnings being issued as that front continues moving across Louisiana. But still very far away from North Mississippi, not affecting us here, but you can tell where those tornado watches have already been issued out there in the blue, which we can click on it and see how long that they're issued for. They expire Sunday at 2 o'clock in the morning. That might get extended just a little bit for the eastern portions of the southern parts of Mississippi, but you can definitely tell those warnings continuing to get issued out there in Louisiana, but not affecting us here in North Mississippi. But this front will continue moving on through. We're going to see that rainfall a lot more green than red or orange, which is good news. That's what's going to affect us later on tonight. Going to be a soggy overnight period ahead. So let's track that out real quick on Futurecast. We can still see those darker reds further down south in Alexandria, Oakdale, and Lake Charles. Moving on through Louisiana, right here in North Mississippi, most of us continue to stay dry as those isolated showers move on in. But we're going to start seeing those soggy conditions. And I pause this here even by 1 o'clock. Notice the trend, still staying pretty dry by then, but also look at the southern portions of our state. A lot more intense with those darker reds moving on through, even breezy conditions. You can see those wind barbs just right along that line. So those heavy wind gusts, heavy showers, thunderstorms, could even see some severe thunderstorm warnings and possibly some tornado warnings get issued. But for us here in our viewing area, thankfully, we are seeing that trend stay away from us. But this is around 1:30 later on tonight as that low pressure system continues moving on in. Could see some heavier showers affect those in the southeastern portion of our viewing area, which is why I keep mentioning those rumbles of thunder possible. But pretty much we're looking at a lot of dark green, a lot of heavy showers moving on in as that cold front continues pushing on across our state. And eventually we'll move on out of our area, bringing in some of that wraparound moisture as well. So will be a soggy start to your Sunday morning. But thankfully those rain chances will eventually get on out of our area as we can finally enjoy a dry end to our Sunday. Just going to be later on into the evening dinner time hours before we can do so. We can see that right here on the next 24, going to be a soggy start to our Sunday. Right now, rain chances around 40% by 6 o'clock, mid-50s for your temperatures, slowly warming on up towards the low 60s by lunchtime as those rain chances continue to dwindle as you go about and get ready for the afternoon hours. Once you do so, you're going to see those highs pretty much reach the mid-60s across North Mississippi, and then cloudy and overcast skies above as you get ready for your work week on Monday and eventually what we'll say tomorrow once we make it to Sunday. But don't go anywhere. I want to track out those rain chances and those storm chances as we go about this overnight period. You saw kind of where it's more, who it's affecting more in the southern portions of the Magnolia State, but we'll zoom in, do an hour by hour as we go through this overnight period just so you can look at your respective city, know what to expect overnight, and also get ready for a beautiful work week. All that's coming up right after this break.
By the time you see the symptoms of lung cancer, it could be too late. Now there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early. If you smoked, get scanned.
Hate is loud, but love is the majority.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us for Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Let's take a look at those current conditions outside here in Tupelo. 62 degrees, feels like 62, but that wind still in the double digits, around 13 miles per hour coming out of the southeast. That dew point in the low 40s as well. So showing somewhat of a more saturated environment as we've had compared to the past few weekends. We're going to see why that is due to those rain chances moving on through later on tonight. So let's take a look at this with Futurecast. I took off that low pressure system, the warm fronts, the cold fronts, so we can just look at all the colors that will eventually start to affect us later on tonight. We're seeing these isolated chances of showers kind of moving on through North Mississippi by 10 o'clock. This is going to continue as we wrap up our Sunday and head into those AM hours. But notice, also seeing a little bit more drier conditions by 1:30 later on tonight before those rain chances continue to pick on up later on into the AM hours. Pause this around 3 o'clock just to show you some heavier bands of showers moving on through, especially for those out there in Natala County and Kosciuszko, Louisville, even into Oktibbeha and Choctaw County. Starting to see those heavier showers. Could see some rumbles of thunder, but really not much fuel, not much energy up here in the northern part of the Magnolia State. So definitely some good news, just to be some rainfall, some wind moving on through North Mississippi, but continuing into those AM hours, even by 4:30, still seeing a line of showers move on through North Mississippi, some heavier downpours, windy conditions, maybe a few rumbles. But that's pretty much the extent. Not much energy in our atmosphere up here in North Mississippi. We're still going to see and talk about that wraparound moisture. It kind of moved on through North Mississippi, but you can also see these heavy downpours out in the Delta as you start off your Sunday morning. These are going to continue to kind of circling on in, moving on through North Mississippi, and why we still have a soggy start to our Sunday and just those annoying, pesky showers that continue bothering us as we go about our Sunday. It's going to be a while until we start to see drier conditions tomorrow. But those low temperatures for our Sunday, we're not really going down much further. Pretty much mid-50s all across North Mississippi. 55 out there in Amory, Tupelo and Houston, Eupora, Grenada, 57 Greenwood and Belzona, and 58 out there in Greenville. So definitely above average for this time of year, but also due to those saturated and rainy atmosphere that we have above our heads. But Futurecast still showing those rainy conditions, especially for those out there in the southern portions of the Delta. These rain changes are going to continue moving on through North Mississippi, kind of seeing that counterclockwise spin due to that low pressure system moving on through North Mississippi. Even by lunchtime, by the time you're wrapping up church tomorrow, you'll be heading to your favorite Mexican restaurant or any post-church restaurant of your choosing. Definitely going to still see those soggy conditions as you go about your day. But thankfully, once we kind of wrap up lunch and head into the afternoon hours, those rain chances start dwindling more and more. So definitely leaving behind cloudy conditions in its wake, but drier conditions. And thankfully, that's going to stick with us for the rest of the work week ahead. Just going to take us a while until we can enjoy them. Those high temperatures tomorrow, pretty much in the mid to upper 60s all across North Mississippi. 67 in Starkville, 66 Eupora, 61 Oxford and Clarksdale, and 64 out there in Greenville. Now, those feels like values, most of us feeling slightly cooler than what those temperatures are reading outdoors. Now, I know that doesn't bother us one bit, especially because we like these cooler temperatures, especially with how above average we're getting, but also most of us are going to be chilling indoors, having a lazy, rainy day tomorrow. Those were my favorite days growing up, still are, so I know most of us will be enjoying our time inside tomorrow. Now let's come back to Futurecast to kind of talk about what we can expect after these rain changes, because now we can finally talk about drier conditions. How long does that last? Well, spoiler alert, going to be a while. We're going to see those cloudy conditions kind of try to drift on out, but we'll be a little bit longer until another system makes its way in to kind of clear out that cloud cover. You can already start barely seeing it. It's that high pressure system. That's going to continue moving on to the east and pretty much wipe out all that cloud cover we have. This is what's allowing us to stay dry throughout our Monday and also allowing us to see sunny, dry, clear blue skies above us. So I know Mondays are not the best part of the workday, especially with a few of us meteorology majors having a dynamics test, but it's going to be a beautiful day, and we get to enjoy them outside together. But that high-pressure system allowing us to stay dry and continue allowing us to feel warm as we go about our work week. That wind coming out of the south with that clockwise spin, allowing us to feel a lot warmer as we go about the start of our Monday. So let's take a look at our highs in just a second. But you can see that wind starts to build up just a little bit by Tuesday early morning hours after we cross midnight into Tuesday around 1 o'clock. Still seeing dry conditions, but also clear conditions. So definitely a beautiful forecast for your Monday. Still just got to get through those soggy conditions tonight before we can enjoy them. But those high temperatures, a little bit warmer as compared to our Sunday. Tomorrow, pretty much upper 60s, low 70s across North Mississippi. 70 in Vernon, Amory and Houston, 69 New Albany, 66 in Senatobia, 64 Clarksdale and Cleveland, 66 out there in Greenville. Those feels like values doing a lot better, pretty much matching up a little bit more consistent as compared to tomorrow. So beautiful conditions for our Monday, and I know we'll be back in school, back in work, but hey, throughout the work week responsibilities, we get to at least enjoy those beautiful conditions outdoors as long as we can take a break. Now that 7-day forecast going to show those rainy conditions throughout our Sunday, but more beautiful and spring-like conditions returning. Still 60% chance as those showers move on through pretty much in the overnight hours ahead. Could still hear some rumbles of thunder. Not expecting any severe weather associated with this cold front. Then we're seeing clear blue skies for our Monday, highs in the upper 60s, some low 70s. Don't worry, we're going to continue building up into the 70s for your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And this is going to be a fun day to watch. And want to make sure y'all stay in tune with us here at Mississippi Live Weather, because we could see some record-breaking highs for your Thursday due to what some models are putting out there. So it'll be pretty fun to track that out throughout the work week and see if it verifies. But then those rain chances try to take a while to come back into your forecast for your Friday. Right now, only a 20% chance before we see a drier Saturday in the future, with highs around 67 degrees. So beautiful conditions are in store for us. Just got to get through this soggy and wet night ahead. But thankfully, I know we are ready, and I know a lot of us enjoy hearing some rain falling asleep. So it'll definitely be a good night, stress-free night, not expecting any severe weather here in North Mississippi. Now, here's the QR code to both our iOS and Android app in case we get any warnings or any severe weather heading their way, whether it's tonight, which not expecting that here in North Mississippi, but as we get closer towards those March, April, May months, our app will send you alerts, keep you updated as we get ready for any weather that Mississippi loves to throw at us, because we all know by now we experience all the seasons no matter what time of the year it is. And of course, we'll be live later on tomorrow night at 6 and 10 talking about drier conditions, but more beautiful conditions for the work week ahead. So I hope everybody enjoys their night tonight. Everybody be safe. Enjoy the rainfall, maybe hearing some rumbles of thunder tonight. I'm just checking the comments. I think y'all nailed it perfectly. Good sleeping weather. That is what I am most excited for. Still might even sneak an alarm for the 3-4 o'clock time frame for me in Starkville just to wake up, try to see if I can see some lightning flashes and some thunder. So definitely going to be a good night for all of us, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's Valentine's Day, and I'll see y'all back here in the Room to Room Weather Center tomorrow night at 6 and 10.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.